Welcome to the Pocket. My name is Scooter, and here for you guys today, I have my Week 16 reaction to the Giants' loss in Atlanta to the Falcons, 34-7. Now, before we get into it, I just want to give you guys a heads up. I'm most likely going to be combining my power rankings and moneyline picks video for this week. Obviously, with Christmas Eve, it's pretty hectic time of the football season, especially if you're making content, trying to find time to put these videos together, properly prepare them for you guys, and get them out there is definitely a big challenge this time of the year. I went to a bar yesterday with some buddies who I usually don't get to see throughout the year, watch the Saints and Packers game, spend some time with them. Woke up not in time to make both of these videos this morning. I really wanted to, but you know what? It is what it is. So, like I said, don't forget to check out some of my other content and stay tuned later this week for my power rankings and score predictions. So, in this game, the Giants actually did take the lead first. Tyrone Tracy, he had a nice touchdown catch, tapping the toes. So there was, I guess, a positive there. But other than that, Atlanta proceeded to score 34 unanswered points. Obviously, that was the outcome of the game. They outgained us about 330 yards to 230. So, outgained us by 100 yards. They didn't do that much more in the passing game. They only had 202. It was probably like 220. And the Giants had 189, which was probably more like 200 because these stat graphics are always wrong. But the Falcons did dominate the running game. They had 127 rushing yards compared to our 45. The Falcons had 5.1 yards per play compared to our 4.3. They had 22 first downs. Giants had 14. They were 4 for 8, or 8 for 14, on third down, and the Giants were 3 for 9. They did not go fourth down. The Giants missed the one time they tried. The Falcons allowed 0 sacks, so, there's that Giants pass rush. Giants only allowed 3 sacks of their own. The Giants punted 5 times. Falcons punted twice. Giants had a horrible game with penalties, 10 penalties for 85 yards. Giants had 3 turnovers, and the Falcons won time of possession, 34 minutes and 30 seconds to 25 minutes and 30 seconds. Not really much notable for the Giants' stat lines. I mean, Malik Neighbors did break the Odell rookie reception record, so that is good to see. I mean, I guess good for him, but he said it himself in his post-game interview. Someone asked him about it. He said, kudos to me, but we didn't win. Yeah, that's that competitive team mindset that I love about Malik Neighbors. But after all of this garbage, on the bright side, something did happen for the Giants. The Raiders were playing the Jaguars. As I mentioned in my score predictions video, my power rankings video, that was going to have huge draft implications if the Raiders won, and they did. The Raiders fall out of the number 1 overall pick, as they're now 3-12. There are 5, 3-12 teams, and the Giants are 2-13. So the Giants currently hold sole possession of the number 1 overall pick. No strength of schedules, fudging with it or anything. If the Giants lose out for the rest of the year, they will retain this pick. So I understand this is a recap video of the Giants-Falcons game, but like I said, it's already a little late, and so I figured I'd talk a little bit more about the Giants, the organization, where we're going, and what this all really means. So, like I said, we got the number 1 overall pick. We lost. You would like to lose in a bit more of a competitive fashion, but it is what it is. I mean, the only positive play in this game was handed to the Giants. Besides the touchdown, the interception off of Michael Penix was really a Kyle Pitts juggle and throw right to a Giants player. I mean, so there's really not much we can take away from the Giants at this point in the season. I certainly am not dissecting what's going on and, drawing conclusions for next year, because this is not the team psychology state that they're going to be in. Obviously, we're tanking and everyone's in a negative mind space, but we have the number 1 overall pick. So what does that mean for the Giants? Well, it means that there's questions, and those questions are about our head coach, our general manager, because there are 2 ways you can look at having the number 1 overall pick. You can say, well, we can actually give our coach and GM, who sort of inherited their quarterback situation, we can give them a chance to select their own guy. Let's keep them both here. Or you can say, we have the number 1 overall pick. So if we go to hire a new head coach, we will be the most attractive spot for a new head coach, not because it's like some great team, right? That's one reason a coaching position could be attractive, but because you can mold it the way you want. If there's coaches out there who like this quarterback class, or say they even think maybe they should trade the number one overall pick, there's not going to be a better team that's going to give them more offseason resources than the Giants are going to be able to with this number one overall pick. So there is questions to be had about Shane and Dable. This has been a thing all year, but now that we've really got this pick locked in, we're really coming down to the wire on this thing, and I think this is honestly not good for them, Joe Shane and Brian Dable, because even though I like Brian Dable, I don't love him anymore. I don't love Joe Shane. I never really did. And like I said, I think John Mara is going to lean a little more towards blowing it up just after things have gone so poorly this year. I mean, it's not like last year where there were some positives, some wins to take away from the whole thing. That the team kind of looked good. This year is just completely awful. So no matter what this draft class is, you can't really go wrong starting with that number one overall pick. And I think John Mara is going to want to do that with a fresh start. One more thing I want to mention before I pop out of here on this brief Christmas Eve The Pocket special from your boy Scooter. I was thinking about it the other day, actually yesterday, seems like a while ago, and I was talking to a fellow Giants fan about how much everything's been going wrong this year, and particularly the defense. I said to him, I think the biggest mistake we made last offseason, right? We didn't sign Saquon Barkley. Obviously, it looks bad, but in the end of the day, he wasn't going to help us win that many more football games this year. Xavier McKinney, same idea, amazing player, but was not going to help us win more than 5 games, I would say, if we retain both of them. But the big loss of last offseason was Wink Martindale. The falling out between him and Brian Dable is what really killed us. Over the 2 years that he was there, we were able to say as Giants fans that the defense was certainly above average. I mean, it wasn't always the best scheme for certain matchups, right? You leave guys one-on-one in man coverage with certain wide receivers and they just get cooked, right? But in the end of the day, the man blitz scheme, it was working. And this was before we had Burns. This was still while we had guys like McKinney. So you could argue the secondary had a better roster, but Banks was in that secondary and he played very well in his rookie season. So I think the scheme switch kind of gave him a second rookie year. And if anything, I thought coming out he was supposed to be more of a balanced corner, but it seems he's much more of a man guy. And it just seems overall the whole defense was thrown off by the scheme change. I'm not saying Shane Bowen's doing a good or a bad job. I'm just saying when you change schemes like changing offense, you're restarting. And I think that was a big mistake for us to allow him to walk away. So you've lost your defensive coordinator. You got a first-year defensive coordinator who hasn't looked great. A head coach who, despite his success in the first year, has not been able to get this team in the right spot. And same thing with the general manager. So yeah, I think it might be time to clean house. I mean, you look at what happened with the Bears this year. You got an organization and a fan base that's upset with the head coach. You get a number one overall pick of their choosing, and now you fire that coach when the season doesn't go well, and you got to hire a new coach who did not select Caleb Williams. I'm sure they would have, but you understand what I'm saying? I don't want the Giants to be in this situation again where we Daniel Jones, whatever quarterback we take. I think we just need to start fresh. This Brian Dable era is pretty much over. I mean, I like him as a coach. I honestly hope if we're going to keep one of them, it's him, but then you have to hire a general manager who likes Brian Dable, which I don't think is that outlandish, but it's a constraint. You don't want constraints with this new selection of whether it's a general manager or a head coach. So that's pretty much all I have to say about the Giants-Falcons game. These Giants games are completely bland and devoid of any sort of meaning this year at this point. Of course, we have the draft and talking about whether the head coach is going to get fired. But, I feel bad for the players going out there, giving it, some of them are giving it their all. That some of them are not, and that is what it is. But I feel bad for those guys going out there, really. Must be tough putting your body on the line when you feel like your organization doesn't want you to win. It's really just too bad. So Time for the outro. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Please don't forget to check out some of my other content that I've posted. The score predictions and money line picks this year have been phenomenal. They've been very accurate. I've been making a little bit of money doing little dollar bets on those. And I'm not advising anyone to gamble. Don't gamble with anything you can't afford to lose. But if you want, those score predictions are out there. My power rankings are going to be out there. I'll give you a taste of who I think has got the best shot of winning the Super Bowl. And then don't forget to leave a like on this video and stay tuned for this week's score predictions and power rankings. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.